Yo, welcome to the 5th episode of the Casual Flex. I'm your host, Philip Dukes, aka Dukes D Scoop. Catch me on Instagram and Twitter at Dukes the Scoop. Today we have a very special guest, the all-time leader in touchdowns for the New York Giants, Brayden Jacobs. What's going on, my boy?
Man, CP, man, living life, man. Just happy to be on this side of the saw, my brother. Trying to stay out the way and do the right thing and treat everybody with respect and have good humanities, man. That's just about it with me.
Nah, hey, you know what, man? It's funny you said came in and treat everybody with respect, right? So, you know, we're going to talk like, you know what I'm saying, just me and you talking. All right, so the whole Deion Sanders, Alabama State fiasco, whatever you want to call it, right? You know, and, you know, even before I was talking more so from like, you know, the Deion perspective, but if that, and you do a lot of coaching, right? Like real big in Atlanta as far as like the youth football scene, got a great thing going on at St. Francis High School. As a coach, seeing the rest of the clip, what would you have done in the situation if you were Eddie Robinson Jr. and you felt disrespected by Deion by walking through your line during warmups?
Well, I mean, I know the language is probably a little harsh coming from some of the kids. But at the end of the day, man, you know, I like what Prime's doing at Jackson. You know, I like everything he has going on. I send my kid to play for Prime in a heartbeat.
Right.
Disrespectful or not, I would send my kid to play with Prime in a heartbeat. You know, Prime is coaching in Australia. I'm sending my son to Australia to play with Prime. That's just how I feel. Been a fan of him for years, since he was with the 49ers. He arguably the best football player or even an athlete to ever compete in any team sport. You know, the list goes on and on for Prime. With the whole thing with the Alabama State situation, for me, all the handshake saga, all that they've had going, all that was cool. All of with the sweatshirts after the case, after the fact. I'm not swag, you're not swag. I'm with all of that. That was great for me. Them kids are having the time of their life. Learning football from the best, learn how to be a man, learn how to be a husband, learn how to be a father from somebody like Prime is big time. We've seen him do it time in, time out with his kids, and he's there to put down some structure in their lives and do things the right way. Right. Now, with that being said, the warm up, I think Prime was a little bit. I think he was a little bit out of hand for the walking through their pregame stretch. And from what I've learned, that the bus got there late due to traffic. Right. So their whole pregame ritual was thrown off, right? So I say, since you got there late, usually you get there and you make that little walk around the stadium, around the field where nobody's out there. Now your bus arrives late. Now when you go out there to do your pregame walk, their team is out there and they're stretching. Right. And I think just because the routine was thrown off due to the bus being late, then I think everything else should have been adjusted as well. Right. So I think that was a little bit wrong. And if I was a coach, I wouldn't have done it in an aggressive way. I'd have been like, Prime, come on, man. You're walking through my group like that, man. Come on now. You got no respect for us. You see us here stretching. You're going to walk right through. That's probably something I would have said, to Prime as a coach. But, nothing in an aggressive way. Nothing in an aggressive way. But I just thought that part was a little bit out of line. But did everything else, from that for the next 3 hours, 4 hours stem from that, him walking through probably so. So I'm thinking if you don't do, if that doesn't happen, I think it's a regular, Saturday afternoon game like every other game they have on Saturdays.
Right, man. That's that's like a real answer, like from somebody who I know, like you big on respect, you big on humility, you big on like no matter where you've been, it didn't matter if you was a 8-figure type guy in the NFL or you was coming out of JUCO just trying to find your way. Like you've been the same person. So as far as respect goes, let's change gears. All right. So right now we got Davante Adams. We're talking about respect right here. So we got this issue with Davante Adams, and Davante is after the game, upset about the game. A photographer jumps in the tunnel and he pushes him. Now, do you think that was more so, and you don't have to speak on it if you don't want to, but do you think that was more so a product of just being upset about the game and somebody getting in a space where he shouldn't have been? Or maybe more so it was just like, man, get this little photographer out of here, man, what you doing in my way, man? I ain't got time for this. Or was it more so like just the emotions of the game running over and he was in the wrong place at the wrong time?
I think it was more the emotion from the game. I don't think by any stretch of imagination that Davante Adams realized what he was doing when he did it. But at the end of the day, he put his hands on him and he pushed the guy down. And, that's what the camera saw. That is perception to all of us because, that is reality to all of us because that we see. We don't know what's going on in Davante's mind. We don't know any of that. But at the end of the day, he put his hands on the guy, he pushed him down, and now he got his civil suit. And he got his minor misdemeanor charge and may get a week suspension from the NFL. I'm not sure what's going to take place with him, but that's something he has to deal with now because of his emotions getting the best of him, which all of us have been there. All of us has been there in a situation where your emotions take over, you're pissed off or something. The game didn't go the way he wanted to go or whatever they have you. They was up big, came back and lost. I think he had a pretty good game. He was pissed off and angry, man. And the guy, in the heat of the moment, jumped up there in the face of a pissed off man. Right. And that's what came of
it. And I think in society right now, we're in a place where everything is magnified by the power of the TV and the social media, right? Like social media is everywhere. It's like you gotta be on point 1,000% of the time, almost 1,000% of the time. Like, for example, okay, cool. The Draymond Green incident, right? All right, he punches Jordan Poole. If this is 20 years ago,
you never knew about it.
It goes away, right? Like nobody saw Mike hit Steve Kerr, right? So it went away.
But you know what?
What's that?
Nobody saw it happen but Jordan. I'm a big Jordan fan. I'm a Jordan guy. I think Jordan's the GOAT of all GOATs. He was dead wrong for hitting Steve Kerr, and Draymond Green is dead wrong for hitting JP. He stand up, he stood there, he went in his space, brushed against him, and then JP pushes him off and he hits him. He wanted that to happen. He didn't have to go in his space, and Draymond Green was dead wrong, and that's a soft move that he did.
Right. Hey, you know what, bro? I was thinking so this is me, so anything I ever been a part of, what I'm saying, as far as physically, I've been on the smaller side of things. It ain't matter about my heart, it ain't matter about none who I was with. So when you get a guy that's on your team, now it's all love. Excuse me, all fair in war, right? I get what you're saying. But in order for Jordan Poole to even those odds, he would have had to either sneak them or come with something else or bring an object. And that's why, and that's why I didn't like the move, because for him to be such a veteran, right? He's like, damn, you couldn't handle that no other kind. That's the only way you could have checked him. And I heard it was some stuff like JP was running his mouth and he might have said something to him. But bro, and I understand. I can't, and I will never be the person that will say that nobody's ever gotten under my skin. But I will say it's dang, dog, when the big dogs attack smaller dogs, it never looks right. And I don't even care if the smaller dog was in the wrong. That the social media aspect of that looks even worse, because dude, it looked like Draymond charged that punch up for
he did. He did. And the thing about it though, man, regardless of what JP was saying, right, they was talking back and forth to each other, whatever was said, but it all changed when Draymond Green entered his space.
Right. Okay.
It all changed when he entered his space. He bumped up and brushed up against him, and he pushes him off of him, and that's when he come up with the punch. Right. It all could have changed if Draymond would have just kept talking.
Right.
And whatever. But once you went in his space and brushed up against him and bumped into him, that changes that change. All right, man, get the off of me.
Right. And you know what, man? It's almost like sometimes you go places knowing what you're finna get, right?
Absolutely.
So that man went in his space hoping for that. And this is how I feel about it. Bro, you knew what you was doing when you went in. You don't get nose to nose with no grown ass man and expect him not. And look, if you look at the push, bro, he had he didn't even want to push him. It was just the It's like, bro, like I don't want no problems, but hey, you got to get out of my space. And as soon as he did that, bro, like you could see, you could almost see it, and like you could tell when somebody got an issue already. Then the type times like, all right, they tripping. Like if you're in the club, you see somebody walk in like that, hey, bro, I'm finna go on and you know what I mean? Because I know, bro, got something else on his mind. And I think that the other part of social media that is, I guess, a byproduct that's kind of good is the accountability that comes with it, because you can't just hide behind a team statement now. Right now, we really see like, hey, bro, that was, bro, that move made you look like a bad person, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so let me ask you this. I heard a quote that said you should never meet your heroes, right? So 2009, 2008, I ain't gonna speak on the name or whatever, but I'm out and I'm hanging with one of my favorite rappers, right? Man, dude was so lame, bro. Like, so lame, bro. He couldn't come. I don't want him, bro, right now, bro. The money cannot outlame you, bro.
No, can't. It never will. So,
have you ever been in a situation where you met somebody that you might have grew up watching and then y'all in a league together, right? Okay, this is my man, and you get around him and you don't got to say no names, but you get around him. You're like, bro, this dude a real sucker. Like, bro, I don't even know how I was looking up to this guy. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
No, I ain't never experienced nothing like that. But I did, I did meet Michael Jordan. It wasn't lame. He was everything I thought he'd be.
Okay.
I did that. And then I hung out with Bruno Mars in Vegas, which he seemed to be a little bit different than what he was, just a little different, just a, cool, calm, collect guy, right. Just kicking back. But just to get a lame character from the guys I've, met and been around, I've never gotten that.
Yeah, man. So right now at Auburn, right? And as we all know, man, like Auburn's going through a tough time right now. We met at Auburn when you was coming out, I think, Coffeyville.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you was coming out of JUCO, number one JUCO player in the world, all world, ESPN articles, all type of stuff. Before we knew who you were before you got to school, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's not like we had Rudy Pools at running back, bro. We had Lack and we had Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown there, and then you came in and it still made waves, right? So with the transfer portal, right, and we'll get back to Auburn. Let's talk about this, the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. You were able to utilize the transfer portal, and I don't think it was a transfer. It wasn't the transfer portal how it is today. It wasn't the portal, right? It wasn't the portal. You did it's either if you want to go to another school, you're gonna have to wait out a year, sit a year to play at this level, or you can go down and play a year.
Absolutely, and that's how it was. I was looking at going to Nebraska. I talked to those coaches over there. My junior college coaches kind of led the charge for me with my transfer because I wasn't able to talk to anybody. It was still tempering at that point. We didn't have a transfer portal for me to enter to make it legal for me to talk to these teams. So my junior college coaches kind of, they kind of had that up for me, and finding out certain information I needed. I wanted to go to Nebraska. I was gonna, go to a couple of different schools, but I decided to go down to a level because I knew I wasn't gonna have to sit out of it. I went to Nebraska like I talked about doing. I would have to sit out a year, and I ended up getting drafted in 2006 versus 2005, which not a big deal, but I ended up going to Southern Illinois instead because it was 1AA FCS, so I was able to go right in and play without sitting out.
So let's say if the transfer portal, how it is today, was going on back then, do you feel like you would have still waited out, or would you have maybe gone to another FBS school?
I probably would have went to another FBS school just to prove to people that I can play on that level.
Right.
That's probably the only reason why I would have wanted to go there, just to show people, because I've never ever not when it came to football, I've never ever not come out on the wing end of it individually. And I think I went to Auburn and I took a loss. So I was kind of jumping at the bit to show people that I can play on this level, and people that know me, people that Auburn know I can play on this level. The players at Auburn know, these students at Auburn know I can play on this level, but everybody else don't know. That's one of the only reasons why I really wanted to go to Nebraska, who was in the Big 12 at the time. Oklahoma and Texas was really good at that time. I wanted to have a chance to really go there and show what I can do, but per the rules, no portal, you got to set out. I didn't have an opportunity to do that, so I transferred to FCS. But if we would have had the portal, I would have been in that red and white, with the Cornhuskers.
Right. Now, hey man, that's and what I want to say about that is a lot of people, they use the transfer portal because the narrative that goes behind that is that they're scared of competition. In your situation, you didn't get a chance to compete.
Mm-mm.
Like they moved you. Like you were playing everything but running back by the time. I think now this is just me on the outside looking in. I just remember just being around, seeing you with the tight ends one day, the D ends another day, the linebackers one day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you really never got a chance to compete. So I was always rooting for you, like in the league, because like you said, like we knew what you could do. Like being at school, we knew what was going on. Like,
mm-hmm.
and even Ronnie and Lack knew. You know what I mean? Like everybody, it's always been respect there. And Ronnie was talking about it on the show last week. But back to Auburn. You're in a very unique position. One, as somebody who's attended Auburn. Two, right? Your son is being recruited by Auburn. Like, it's not like I'm Brayden Jacobs' son, so you got to recruit me. Now, your son is getting recruited by everybody. Like, Brayden is one of the top rated offensive tackles in the country right now, right?
Yeah, he's I think currently sitting at like eight or nine or something like that in the country.
Right. And I seen him. I saw him not too long ago. He's like about 6'6" now.
6'6", 3 something, man. 315, come around. A good looking kid, man.
Right.
Lean, strong, got good feet, move very well.
Right.
I'm just sitting back and kind of see where it's gonna take him, man. And he's been busting his working hard, and it means something to him. He wanted to create his own legacy. He wanted to do his own thing. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm just here to support him and make sure whatever the he wants or whatever he need to take this journey, I'll make sure he have it.
Now, and in your position, right, for somebody who you have an Auburn legacy as a child, but right now Auburn is a place that's kind of disjointed right now, right? A lot of turmoil going on. What would Auburn have to do? Let's say Brayden was coming out in 23, right? What would Auburn have to do in order to win your son over?
Ooh, I mean, this regime in Auburn, I don't know, man. I can't even give you an answer on what they would have to do because there's so much going on with the quarterback situation. Nobody knows anything about nothing. It's just I don't know, man. I really can't answer that question on what they would have to do. I think it will be predicated upon other options.
Right.
Okay. If that makes sense.
No. That makes total sense. Now, while we're on Auburn, your coach, while you were at Auburn, Tommy Tuberville, came out and said some really, really weird statements that kind of put some African Americans in a tough situation, especially some that may have been okay with Tommy Tuberville. Like, I never thought Tubbs was a bad guy. And then you see him like in this, as a politician, and some of the things he is saying now, there's no way he would have had the same type of love from our community in 2003 if we knew that's kind of how he felt.
That's his thoughts. That's
right.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hear what he said, but I just know, just going off of my situation in Auburn, he told me that never burn a bridge, and that I will never play as a running back in the NFL because I was too tall.
Wow.
So I said, you're a professional. You got a right to believe whatever you want. And he was talking about me burning, don't burn bridges, so because you might need to walk back across. I said, no problem. I'm gonna make it to that. I'm gonna make it, and I won't need the bridge. I got a boat. And he just told me good luck and kind of walked out, but he didn't have faith in me being able to play at the next level at running back. I tried everything he wanted, I tried linebacker. I never told him no for any of those things. I tried linebacker. I tried tight end. And I tried to play some fullback, some defensive end. I tried that stuff. I sat in the meeting, the linebackers meeting with Coach Witt. Coach Witt pulled me up out of the meeting, took me right back to Eddie Grant. Like, man, this kid's a running back. He's not a linebacker. He's a running back. He's a running back. Like, he's back.
Wow.
I still remember that. So, I went, within the tight ends. I tried that. I tried with the Coach Price with the defensive ends with Reggie and them in there. It's just
Right.
I tried what they wanted me to try. I just couldn't get the vibe and none of that. So my next option was to leave.
Right. Now, and did you ever run back into him after you won a Super Bowl, after you became successful as running back for the Giants? How was that interaction?
It was short and sweet. It was the movie premiere of The Blind Side.
Wow. Okay.
I went to the premiere. It was in New York, and went to the premiere, and I saw him, and I saw him coming in to watch the next show as my wife and I were leaving out, and he kind of saw me, he shook my hand, and I shook his hand with pride and looked him directly in the eye, and he told me you had a great career. I followed you since you left. Great career, great job, and I just hope everything else for you is going well. I looked in his eye, shook his hand, and I said thank you, and I walked out. But that was enough for me.
Sometimes you don't have to be this whole big moment and I told you so, and this, that. That was
enough for me.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. Let's talk about the Giants. Now we all know
4-1, baby.
4-1. All right.
4-1. We got Action Jackson coming up here, man, and again, guy is responsible for 1,400 total yards of his team's offense throughout the season.
Right.
374 yards on the ground and 49 rushes. Got 5 picks on the year so far. The guy got a point to prove. He got a point to prove to everybody in the NFL, including the Ravens.
Right.
He's going for that big time contract, the fully guaranteed contract, and he's betting on himself. And so the Giants got a hungry Lamar Jackson that they're gonna have to stop. Quite frankly, never seen a quarterback like him. They played against a lot of guys who sit in the pocket and try to make things happen. Well, that's not necessarily Lamar Jackson. He's going to run around. He's going to make things happen. He's going to be up and down the field. So the Giants got to play smart, disciplined football, and and do it. But they got their hands full. But however, with all of that, I see the Giants coming out of this one victorious.
Man, all right. So let me ask you this, BJ. All right, you've played. Now you've been in Auburn against Alabama. You've seen that hatred, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does that compare to the Giants' hatred for the Cowboys?
It doesn't.
Wow.
It doesn't. Like Auburn, Alabama is big time hate, but this Giants, Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, this is way worse than the Auburn, Alabama. Like some of that shit is friendly.
Right.
Right? So you got to be family members. You got to be family members to like Philly.
Right.
And to one like the Giants, you got to be family members to really sit down and watch the game together.
Wow.
So it's big time, man. This is real hate.
Let me ask you this. Which rivalry do you think it has more hatred? Giants Eagles, Giants Redskins, Giants Cowboys?
Giants Eagles.
Wow. Okay.
I'll say the Eagles. They're right down the turnpike, 2 hours away. You can literally hear them talk down. It's that close. But everybody hates. I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles for us. Washington has never kind of had any kind of real threat on us, to be honest with you. And then everybody hates the Cowboys. So,
right.
That's mine. So the Eagles is definitely the Giants' biggest rival.
Okay. Right now, if it was up to you, if you could go play with any other tandem running back in the NFL, you got to be your new Ahmad Bradshaw. What running back would you say would be the best compliment to you in your game?
Saquon Barkley.
There's
no question about it. I would love to play with Bart.
Wow. What about Saquon's game? Now, you know what? Let's talk about somebody besides the Giants because they're going to say you being a homer. All right, and I know you're not. Pick one more running back outside of Saquon.
Nick Chubb.
Okay.
Nick Chubb. I would love to be his running mate, man. He runs hard. The guy reminds me of my Bradshaw, and that's why I picked him, to be his running mate. That'd be a guy I would love to run with. Just remind me so much of Ahmad. He can help out, passing game. The guy runs real hard, low to the ground, great balance. He can run you over, make you miss. He does it all, man. So I would love to be his, I would love to be his running mate.
Okay. Now, what was your welcome to the NFL moment? Like, when you knew you was like, whew, well, I'm in the league. Like, did somebody hit you hard? Did you see somebody make a phenomenal play? Like, what was it when you got there? You was like, oh, I'm in the league now.
Practice, first day of full pad. The first day of full pad. Live goal line. 5 plays of live goal line. My rookie year. Goal line. They hadn't even put me at the goal line back there.
Right.
Goal line. Jacobs, you got it. Let's go, 27.
Oh, man.
Me? All right, this is my goal. Me? I was 5 for 5 though, but I felt everything. I felt everything. Strahan, them coming down the line, had OC, Antonio Pierce, Big Barry, Cofield, Fred Roberts, them guys was coming in that thing. I mean, at this time it wasn't Barry, so it was Fred Roberts, Big Kendrick Clancy. We had him. Big Ken played at LSU from Louisiana. He was there playing D tackle. Them boys was bringing the wood in practice. I'm talking about live practice, which is why now these guys are missing all these damn tackles and stuff in games because they don't hit. They don't hit in practice, so they just learn how to do it. In real game time, and that's not a good time to learn how to do that. But it was real though. Like that's when I realized first day full pass, live goal line, 5 plays. Let's go.
Man, if you had to pick one defender. Now, back then when you played, before you played, somebody who, if you had to see somebody in Oklahoma drill, that you would say, "Whoo, now I ain't gonna die." Because back in the Oklahoma drill, like sometimes folks get to tying their shoes sometime, and I see this guy on the other side. But somebody that you had to get ready for. If you was in Oklahoma with a defender, who would make you say, you know what, I got to run extra hard because I know he bringing it.
Sean Taylor.
Sean
Taylor, you better bring. You big, I'm big and strong, but boy, he'll have me on my ass going that around.
Right.
So definitely, R.I.P. Sean Taylor, Hall of Fame talent that we never got a chance to really see. Right. Played against him a few times, but Sean Taylor would have definitely been that guy that he was like, got to buckle up.
Hey man, look. Hey, Brandon, man, where can we find you? Hey, tell us about your podcast.
So, man, yeah, I'm doing a podcast, man. Right now, I have 2 podcasts. I have Facts Over Feelings. Okay. You can find us on YouTube. Y'all go like and subscribe. Always Facts Over Feelings on Instagram. Always Facts Over Feelings our Facebook page. I also have one going with my guy Rich. So we do 27 and Q. We talk about sports. We talk about all sports. We talk about boxing mostly, basketball, football, baseball. We talk about betting. There's a bunch of different man that I have going on, and love doing both of the podcasts. The Facts Over Feelings is a whole lot of So if you want to laugh, about some things, today's pop culture or whatever the hell is going on, we definitely got some jokes for you. So always Facts Over Feelings. So y'all make sure y'all get over there and subscribe and like, and same thing with 27 and Q. That's 27 and capital Q. Right. We also got a YouTube page that you can go like and subscribe as well. That's it, man. I got that going on, and just like I say, stand out the way.
Man, last thing, is Jake Paul legit?
Jake Paul is legit for what he is. Okay. For what he is. When I say that, when I see him get in the ring with a real boxer and coming on and winning, and I'll give him credit. But he's training, he's busting his ass, he's doing all the right things that he should be doing as a fighter would do. But I don't think he's finding anyone to test him. And I don't think a 40-plus-year-old Anderson Silva, 40-plus-year-old, MMA guy is going to be the guy to do that. I say he stopped Silva early. I'm gonna give him credit when I see him get in the ring with a real fighter. He had Rottman in the situation. Guy was, I think, 2 pounds overweight, and he ran away from that. You're not a sanctioned champion, so that weight doesn't matter. He's 2 pounds over. Fight him. You're not fighting for a WBC or WBO belt. You don't you're not even fighting at a real weight class. So fight this man. He's 2 pounds over. Fight this man.
Right.
He's 2 pounds over the weight y'all guarantee, y'all agreed on.
Right.
So fight him. You're not fighting for a belt, so fight him. But he turned it down because I think he knew he was gonna fall. I think he knew he was gonna lose that fight.
Do you think so we just saw Frank Gore and AP fight, right? Was that Frank?
Mm-hmm.
No, that was we saw AP and Le'Veon.
Le'Veon Bell, yeah.
Le'Veon, okay. Would you ever consider getting in the ring?
I mean, I will get in there if the opportunity arises. If the opportunity came. I mean, I have really good boxing skills. Never talk too much shit about boxing. I talk about what I know about boxing, me being a fan of boxing. I have really good skills. I'm a really awkward fighter that people will have problems with. Got a lot of speed. I move the ring good. I can take a shot. I can go whatever. I can go with whoever. But if the opportunity came, I would definitely get in there and show what I can do. There's no question about it.
Jake Paul.
There's not one that there's not. Now Frank Gore is my brother.
Right.
I wouldn't get in with him, obviously, because he's my dog. I know AP well. All these guys, of course, running the ball with throughout the league. But I mean, I'm with it.
Ain't no running back. So I don't think you think a running back can whoop you?
I don't think there's no non-boxer out there that really can stand in.
Is Jake Paul enough of a boxer to give you some competition in the ring?
I'll stop Jake inside of one. And if I don't stop him inside of one, I don't want the check.
Wow. So you telling me right now, if you fought Jake Paul, that you would guarantee a knockout in one or your money back?
I don't want the check.
Wow. Man, hey, you heard it here first, folks. Man, BJ, man, it's always fun when we get a chance to kick it, dog. Hey,
yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me, man.
No, for sure, man. Hey, we'll do it again.
No doubt.
All right, for sure, my boy.
Yes, sir.